Today, we travel back into Dorset, as I often do, to talk about an ancient character, its true origin lost to history. Religions predating Christianity retreated into the far corners of England when the Romans occupied, with many pagan organisations pushed underground. After the Romans left, some were able to continue such practices, although this was now the Dark Ages, and many did look to Christianity more often than not, long forgetting their gods of old and their connection to a more nature-driven belief system. Many pagan rituals involved wearing masks to represent their deities. It is believed that this is where the OOSER began, many centuries ago, perhaps representing a god we have long since forgotten. The OOSER, a half-man, half-beast creature depicted through a wooden demonic-looking mask, adorned with a beard, locks of hair on either side of its head, and bullock's horns. Its jaw was hinged and could be opened and closed using a string, allowing the mouth to gnash and audibly snap shut. They also appear to have a third all-seeing eye in the middle of their forehead. I will note that its image is often connected to deities like the horned god. Although not immediately connected, it's hard not to notice the similarity between them. I found that most surmise that ancient pagan deities like the horned god helped to inspire these smaller folk traditions in a post-Roman Britain. The intent or meaning of the OOSER, having been long lost to the annals of time, has changed over the years. Some towns within the county use the mask of an OOSER at Christmas time or midwinter during celebrations, where an OOSER would arrive at your door and demand food and drink, similar to other traditions within the British Isles, such as Mari Lwyd and wassailing. I also found some traditions linking the use of an OOSER mask to May Day processions. May dances in Dorset to this day still include the OOSER, though not as animated as it once was said to be. Alternatively, others have used the mask to terrify others, including, though not limited to, misbehaving children. It's been loosely connected to another similar tradition, thankfully long gone, of a skimmington, also known as riding a stang, charivari or lubelling, in which a procession of villagers, equipped with pots and pans, would loudly bang down the small streets, and with them would carry a member of the village that they deemed worthy of a public humiliation. The offender was usually guilty of domestic violence or infidelity. During a skimmington, a stang master would recite a rhyme, usually including said crime within it. This happened in a time before law, and so was used as a way to maintain a form of policing on the village's population. In 1886, Reverend W. Barnes, in his glossary of the Dorset dialect, describes the OOSER as such: OOSER, ooze, or woos, a mask as with grim jaws, put on with a cow's skin to frighten folk. Wers, in layman's brute, is the name of the arch-fiend. Layman's Brute is one of the earliest major works of English literature written after the Norman Conquest, around the late 12th or early 13th century. In it, the term wers refers to the devil. However, the origin of the word OOSER is widely accepted to have derived from the Wiltshire term wooser. This word referred to a pole upon which a horse's skull with deer's horns was affixed. In the 17th century, the OOSER was said to have been included in similar traditions. Again, a form of humiliation. The hollow wooden mask, interestingly, did not have eye holes for the wearer to see out of, perhaps hinting that the wearer may have been an unwilling participant. The use of the OOSER mask was said to have once been very popular in Dorset, with some records stating that almost every village across the county would have had a mask of their own. In 1982, in the paper Notes and Queries for Somerset and Dorset, Henry Joseph Moore, curator of the Dorset County Museum, shared his earliest recollections of the OOSER at Cerne Abbas. The note about the OOSER calls back old times. In my childhood he was doing service, at Christmas mummings surely it was. Our Cerne Abbas nurse was quite up in all relating to the worser, as I should spell it phonetically. I did not know of the horns. Indeed, in our embryo Latinity, we thought that the word and attempted Ursa, if I remember rightly. What crowds of odd bits I could note if, alas, I did but remember rightly all nurses' folklore and folk speeches. Author Thomas Hardy, having been born and raised within Dorset, also once recounted an early memory of the use of the OOSER Mask, and in his novel The Return of the Native, a character refers to the mask and asks, "What have made you so down? Have you seen OOSER?" Realistically, we are unsure of whether or not it was intended to represent a deity or a spirit, an ancient fertility symbol, or if it could have been depicting something more sinister. It is believed that many of the masks that once existed had been stolen by pagan groups or destroyed by Christian priests. The OOSER came back into the public eye after its disappearance in the 1890s, in an edition of Notes and Queries for Somerset and Dorset. In it showed one of only 2 known photographs of the last OOSER mask. In 1891, the last remaining authentic OOSER mask was owned by a man named Mr. Thomas W. Cave, who lived on Holt Farm in Melbury, Osmond. It is said that he used the mask to scare trespassing children that would come onto his farmland. After, in the early 1890s, the mask passed to a relative called Dr. Edward Cave. He is said to have taken the OOSER when he moved to Crewkerne. After 1897, the mask seems to disappear from records. When Edward moved to Bath and left the OOSER with a manservant, Lawrence, back in Crewkerne. Alternatively, I have found some evidence stating that the mask may have been bought. In 1917, a man named Cecil Henry Spencer Percival of Henbury, Bristol wrote, "In February 1892, I had correspondence with Mr. Thomas W. Cave, to whom it, the mask, then belonged. He offered it to me for 50 guineas, and said he had 2 other gentlemen to whom he was writing to the same effect." He says on the 6th of February 1892, "Several societies have written me for price, which I have given no one, as you wrote me first." Many believe the mask to be long lost, destroyed years ago, its final owner perhaps not realising its importance. Others believe it was sold off, whisked away to far-off America. As the years pass, still the original remains lost. However, 2 replicas now sit on display at the Dorset County Museum. One, a ceramic model made in the 1990s by Guy Sydenham. The other, a wooden recreation made by John Byfleet for the Wessex Morrismen in 1975. It's still used in Morris dancing performances, and every year makes an appearance at the May Day celebrations in Cerne Abbas. Thank you guys again for watching. Let me know if any of you know anything about the OOSER, and I'm assuming I'm pronouncing it correctly when I say it. I do remember learning about it a little bit when I was in school, but I didn't know anything about any of the stuff I researched, to be honest with you. I only knew of its existence. As for me, I'm not too sure what I think it could have been used for. I'm assuming it's part of the humiliation ritual deal, but it's a pretty interesting story, and I hope you found it interesting too. Anyway, thank you again. This has been The Weird.